We're here together, fight fans tonight, sharing the stories beneath the bright lights. Boxing and MMA, the breakdowns are true. Unbiased, objective, it's all here for you. So tap that like, it helps us grow. Support the stream, let the whole world know. Marshall Hughes, where the fight talk lives. The best predictions that the channel gives. Through every round, we're keeping it clear. The passion for the sport is what brings us here. Your love and support keep the fire alive. One little click helps the channel thrive. So tap that like, it helps us grow. Support the stream, let the whole world know. Marshall Hughes, where the fight talk lives. The best predictions that the channel gives. So tap that like, it helps us grow. Support the stream, let the whole world know. Marshall Hughes, where the fight talk lives. The best predictions that the channel gives. Through every round, we're keeping it clear. The passion for the sport is what brings us here. Your love and support keep the fire alive. One little click helps the channel thrive. So tap that like, it helps us grow. Support the stream, let the whole world know. Marshall Hughes, where the fight talk lives. The best predictions that the channel gives. So tap that like, it helps us grow. Support the stream, let the whole world know. Marshall Hughes, where the fight talk lives. The best predictions that the channel gives. So tap that like.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We are live. Mic check. 1, 2, 1, 2. All right. Let's make sure my audio is good. Let me know in the chat if you can hear me. Someone let me know.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. We good. We good. We good. We good. What's up, everybody? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to this week's live stream. UFC Seattle, Israel Adesanya versus Joe Pyfer. All right. On this stream, we're going to be breaking down every single fight on this card, making my predictions, my final predictions, and maybe or maybe not, we might be going over some bets. But of course, if you've been subscribed, you do know that I do have a member section. Most weeks, not every single week, but when I see the profits and the betting lines and things like that, I always put out my personal parlay to the members. So, hey, if you want to help out a small channel, go ahead and join. All right. You can become a member. It's pretty cheap. It's just another way to help out a small channel. We're still growing, man. We're still growing. I already put out a video breaking down the main event like I always do. So we're going to be focusing on the rest of the card. On this stream, my pick hasn't changed. I'm just going to let you guys know right from the bat. And I'm not going to lie, you know, when I initially picked Izzy, I was like, man, am I being biased? Am I picking him because I'm a fan? But the more I've watched the tape study, the more I've gone over their resume, all that good stuff, I'm even more confident. I'm more confident that this fight is going to be one-sided. I was like maybe 50-50. Is his chin, Joe Pyfer's momentum, Izzy is in a, what, 3-fight losing streak. But I'm like, wait, he's been fighting the best of the best. While Joe Pyfer, the best fighter he's faced is Jack Hermanson, and he lost. So I'm even more confident. So, but we're gonna break all that down. Aside from that, I do have some things I'm gonna be reacting to, some videos, some interviews, just catching up on MMA and UFC news. But let's go through the chat real quick before we get into that. 1 second here. Let me make sure everything is set up. 1 minute. And he lost. All right. We are good. All right. Let's see. What's up, Nirman? How's it going, man? Waiting for the member parlay, brother. Yes, sir. I will be posting the parlay tomorrow. So watch out for that. If you're a member, watch out for that. Definitely have something cooking for this weekend. It's a stacked card, so there are some things we could take advantage of. I'm worried about is this chin. Aside that, he's levels above Pyfer. Yeah, I know. At the end of the day, everybody has a plan until they get hit in the face. So, of course, Joe Pyfer has the path. And aside from the knockout, Joe Pyfer is actually, I'm not going to say he's a decent grappler because I've not seen him tested against an elite fighter. But he has that in the bag. He can grapple. He has submissions under his belt. So that is also a path to victory. But then again, Izzy has faced way better grapplers than him. But we'll see. Sup, Jacob Fight Coach. Marshall, you seen Kobe crying about UFC fans and MAGA? Yeah, I saw that. That's actually one of the videos I'm going to be reacting to today. Julian says, sounds good. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. All right, let's see. Any other housekeeping that needs to be done? Let me make sure everything is set right here. 1 minute. 1 minute. Okay. All right. Yeah. I put up a poll, of course. Who do you guys got this weekend? Izzy or Joe Pyfer? Let me know what you think. But yeah, we're going to be breaking down every single fight, the path to victory, my predictions, how long I think the fight is going to go, all that good stuff. All right. So guys, go ahead and do me a quick favor. All right. Go ahead and do me a quick favor. Close the chat and hit that like button real quick.
Yeah, it's Marshall you, best in the game. If you ain't subscribed, man, that's a shame. Fight talk real, put respect on the name. Breakdowns hit hard like a hook with the flame. I'm the voice of the fight world, facts on deck. Predictions land clean like a right to the neck. Boxing, MMA, yeah, I cover it all. Objective with the takes, never biased at all. Got knowledge in my corner, I'm ahead of the pack. Content heavy, hitting like a jab with a crack. If you love this sport, then you know what to do. Better hit subscribe, welcome in Marshall you. Let's go. I'm the best combat channel, no bias is true. It's true. Ain't nobody do it better, welcome to the crew. Hot takes hit harder than a heavyweight swing. Break down sharp like the blade in the ring. Fight fans know, yeah, I bring that flame. If you sleep on the channel, then you late to the game. Marshall, you the king, put respect on the side. Real fight talk where the real ones ride. Content, I'm the fight fans fix. Break down sharp like a 1-2 mix. Combat sports king, yeah, I in the game, that's Marshall you.
Wait.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. All right. All right. All right. Hope you guys smash that like. Helps out a small channel, man. You guys know how the algorithm works. Okay, so we're gonna get right into this, starting from the first fight of the night all the way to the main event. And like I said, these are my final predictions. Not gonna change anything. So I used to have this strategy where I'll make the main event breakdown and then started having live streams breaking down the full card. And then I do this thing where my final picks, I post it Saturday mornings, but then a lot of you guys complain because you don't really see the final picks that day because everybody's watching fights, right? And it's a post. And to be fair, sometimes I post it late. So, new strategy. The streams are going to be my final picks, okay? Now, if I happen to see something that changes, I will update you guys, but I'm going to be trying my best to make sure I've made up my mind before the streams. So, yeah, that is the new decision. Okay, let me see anything else I need to queue up here before we begin. J Manic says, let's get it. Let's get it, man. Let's get it, bruv. We about to get into it. We about to get into it. Okay. Okay. So UFC Fight Night, Seattle. Israel Adesanya versus Joe Pyfer. First fight of the night, we got Alexia Tainara versus Bruno Brazil. Two women here that I do like. Been keeping an eye on both of them. Alexia got into the UFC from Contender Series last year. I've been excited to see her because she had one of the best performances in Contender Series last year, honestly. So had a good debut. And that goes to show her impressive debut, right? And how I think she has 2 fights so far in the UFC. Yeah, 2 fights so far in the UFC, and had a first round submission, put out Molly McCain, retired her out of the UFC. Easy win. And then she defeated Lubomi, which it just feels weird because I feel like she's been fighting downwards rather than upwards, right? Because Molly McCann had a bigger name, even though she's just been riding off, pretty much riding off the fame of Paddy Pimblett. Just being honest, but she had a bigger name. But then fights Lubomi, who may be a better fighter, has a decision. But now she's fighting Bruno Brazil, who has really been inconsistent in the UFC. She's like best known for being part of the Fighting Nerds. Okay, just keeping it real, right? Not an impressive record, very inconsistent. She also beat Molly McCann. But then she lost to Lubomi, but we're not doing MMA math here. Okay, very inconsistent record, like I said. Lost to Gomez. Okay, so she has a loss, has a win, has a loss, has a win, has a loss, and has a loss again. So inconsistent, right? Even though I was rooting for her, but I think this is a kind of an easy call for this one. I'm not gonna lie. Alexia is aggressive. She's an aggressive striker. She pushes the pace. She throws volume combinations. While Bruno Brazil, on the other hand, is a technical Muay Thai striker with good distance control. So It's pretty much going to be pressure versus technique. Alexia is going to overwhelm early, man. That's what she always does. She tries to make her opponents get tired early, while Brazil will look to pick her apart with cleaner shots. Now, if it's chaotic, Alexia is she's gonna thrive in that fight. But if it stays technical, then Brazil will take over. But I'm yet to see anybody handle the aggression of Alexia, man. So I'm gonna go with Tatiana. Oh, sorry, Tatiana. I'm gonna go with Alexia Tainara by a submission. Actually, I think she's gonna try to make an impressive performance here. Brazil has a chance. It's not a wash. And to be fair, this is, even though I was going through their resume and I was like, they're fighting down. When I said she's fighting down, I meant in terms of name value, I guess. This is actually the best fighter she's facing so far. So we're about to see. But I think Alexia is actually pretty good. I think she's gonna crack the rankings for sure and probably be a contender at strawweight. So yeah, I'm gonna go with her by a submission. But most likely gonna be a decision, but I have a feeling she's gonna want to put on a performance. All right. Next fight, we got Ricky Simón versus Adrian Yanez. Now, this right here, Ricky Simón, elite wrestler, relentless pressure, cardio machine. Adrian Yanez, high-level boxer, sharp counters, and he does have knockout power, but it's fair to say Yanez has been inconsistent. Ricky Simón had like a good climb in his career, but then had a downward spiral, and then now he's on like a redemption. He's coming back. So he's on a good momentum right now. Of course, aside from his last loss to Barcelos, I actually forgot about that. Before that, beat Smotherman, beat Basharat, knocked out Basharat in round 1. And then before that, he lost to Oliveira, which I feel like I was the only one who picked him to win that fight. Who picked Oliveira to win that fight. But Ricky Simón is also inconsistent. This is actually a good matchup here. Both guys are pretty inconsistent. Adrian Yanez, I actually like Adrian Yanez, but he's been disappointing with the inconsistency. Lost to Marcos. It was a close fight, split decision, not in the best momentum, right? He beat Salvador, but then lost to Martinez. And lost to Rob Font, man. Yeah, I don't know. This fight, I think when it comes down to their striking, both guys are pretty close. I don't think Yanez is a much better striker than Ricky Simón. And I like Yanez, don't get me wrong. But I think Ricky Simón is just a way better grappler. I think he's going to overwhelm him. Pretty much a classic grappler versus striker, but it's going to be at a high level. I think Simón's success depends on chaining takedowns, and that's what he's going to try to do. Yanez needs space to box. If Simón can't hold him down, he's in danger. And I think Simón is going to hold him down. I think he's going to drag the fight, and I'm just going to go with Simón by a decision here. Easy pick. All right, next fight. This is going to be interesting. Definitely going to be ending in a finish. Navajo Sterling versus Bruno Lopez. Navajo Sterling, explosive striker, dangerous early, while Bruno Lopez is more balanced and he mixes the grappling with striking. Sterling likely hunts an early finish in this fight. Lopez has the more well-rounded skill set and could take over if he survives the first round. Now, I'm not going to say, oh, if he survives the first round, then the fight is going to go his way. No, right? He just has a better chance. That's what I'm trying to say, because Sterling is actually good, man. And he's well-rounded. Let's take a look at his fight resume real quick. Beat Bellato, who's on a good momentum right now. To be honest, that's the only relevant person in his resume. He's not even that relevant if we're being honest. He's not that relevant. But yeah, the point is he does have a dominant performance in all his fights. He's not had a close fight. He's always dominant on the feet, on the ground, wherever it goes. On the other hand, Bruno Lopez, fairly new to the UFC, lost to Dustin Jacoby in his last fight. And to be fair, that's the best. Justin Jacoby is way better than anybody Navajo Sterling has faced. So I'm not going to hold that too much against him. But I think this is an easy pick. I think Navajo, in my opinion, from what I've seen, the guy has shown to be a special type of fighter. I do have high hopes for him in the UFC. I'm going to go by knockout, man. The guy has that power. Lopez doesn't have that much good of a chin. But yeah, I'm going to go with Sterling by a knockout in this fight. Next, we got Casey O'Neill versus Gabriela Fernandez. Casey O'Neill, pressure grappler, strong clinch, relentless pace. While Gabriela Fernandez has submission threat, she's dangerous off her back, so she's going to be trying to be laying on her back and trying to initiate a grappling exchange. She is tricky, though, and she's more of a veteran. Oh, no, I take that back. She is tricky, and she's faced higher competition. Now, Casey O'Neill, I don't know. I feel like she hasn't fought in a while. It's been a while that I heard her name. She's number 12 in this division. Her last fight, she beat Santos. Close fight, but she pulled it through, and then she lost to Da Silva. Pretty inconsistent. Casey O'Neill is not special in any way. This is a very close fight. Now, on the other hand, Fernandez is one of those ladies that is known for pulling off upsets. She's beating fighters that she's supposed to lose to, and she's on a way better momentum right here, right? She's on a 3-fight win streak. And she's the one who fraud checked Kong. I won't say fraud check, but she humbled Kong, right? She put her in a place because she was feeling herself with the whole cringe Joker stuff. She made her act normal after that fight. But I think she's going to take this, man. I think she's going to make it a grapple heavy fight. Casey O'Neill can hold her own on the ground. Don't get me wrong. But she tends to feel herself a little bit too much and overestimate her skill set. And I don't know if she's learned from that. Like I said, I haven't seen her in a while. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Fernandez, man. This is an underdog pick, but it's close. I think I'll go with Fernandez by a decision. The reason I'm saying I'm picking her by decision is I feel like she's going to try to get a finish. She's going to try to get a submission. But Casey O'Neill is good on the ground as well. She will know how to defend it. And I think she will just have most of the control time. That's why I'm picking her to win by a decision. Next fight, we got Marcin Tybura versus Tyrell Fortune. Marcin Tybura is a veteran, strong grappler, and he's very durable. He's been in the UFC heavyweight division for a while. He's one of those fighters who's like clogging up the division. Him, Sergey Spivak, and a bunch of other guys are just right there, right below the top 5 or top 6. It's like they can't beat anybody above them, but then nobody below them can beat them. It's very weird, right? Heavyweight division is trash right now. Tyrell Fortune, athletic wrestler, explosive, but he's less proven. Yeah, he's less proven. So I don't know. He's good though. From everything I've watched from Tyrell, he's actually good. The only thing I would say Tybura is holding against him is the experience and him fighting at a higher level than Fortune. If not, I'll be picking Fortune, right? And to be honest, another thing with fighters who debut in the UFC, no matter how experienced they are, once they come into the UFC, their first fight is always it's a little nerve-wracking. That always counts, right? It always does. So I'm gonna go with Tybura here. He's just faced way better opponents than Tyrell Fortune, but I'm not gonna be betting on this one because Fortune does have a good chance to win. He's very athletic for his size. He's very explosive. He can have a lot of control. But again, he's less proven. I just haven't seen Tyrell face a high-level opponent. Whereas on the other hand, Tybura has faced several high-level opponents, right? He's not, I won't call him a bum, but he's pretty good. Knocked out, he got knocked out by Adesanya, of course, in his last fight. But the guys he's beat are way better than anybody Tyrell Fortune has faced. Just can't even compare, to be honest. So I have to be objective. 90% of fighters who debuted in the UFC lose their first fight, whether or not they're experienced. That's just the stats. And I think this is one of those ones where the same thing is going to happen. So I'm going to go with Tybura for a decision here. I think that's going to be my pick here. Okay. Hey, what's up, Jake Long? How's it going, man? Gabin trains in Miami. If she can defend a takedown, she wins on the feet. Oh, I didn't even know she trains in Miami. Interesting. Okay. All right. Agree. I think Izzy is still favored. Yeah, Izzy is the favorite, as he should be. And to be honest, I'm going to break it down more, of course, when I get to that fight. But I don't know. I think he should be a bigger favorite, honestly. But I understand. Pyfer can knock Izzy out easy. All right, no pun intended. But you know, I'm gonna get into the details when I get into that fight. Jake Long says Pyfer has a legit puncher's chance. He hits hard. Yeah, he does, man. He does. He has the equalizer, right? He's one of those fighters that no matter how good you are, no matter how high level, how much more experience you have, he can knock you out at any time. It is what it is. But yeah, I'll get into the details more. Next fight, Chase Hooper versus Lance Gibson. Chase Hooper, babyface, submission specialist, actually one of the best submission specialists in the UFC, as young as he is. And he has improved his striking. And he does have tricky scrambles, man. He's been looking more well-rounded. I feel like with Chase Hooper, the only thing that's holding him back is the youth. I feel like he just needs to get a little bit older and fill out more into his body and his frame and just get more experience, and he's really going to be good. That's the only thing. As far as his skill set, he's pretty good. Now, Lance, he's a striker with solid fundamentals, but of course, not a lot on him. I could barely find a lot on Lance. I believe this is his second fight in the UFC, right? He's only fought once. Yep. Debuted and lost to Bobby Green. And this was when? When was this? This was in December 2025. Yeah, not seen a lot from Lance, man. I got to go with Chase Hooper here, man. I think he's going to win by submission. Lance doesn't have experience. From what I've seen from him, he doesn't pose that much of a threat. It's not like this knockout artist, but who knows? Who knows? We may see something new. But I'm going to go with Chase Hooper. He's faced way better fighters. He has more of a path to victory. Several outlets. He can hold his own on the feet. And I think he's going to get it to the ground and get a submission in maybe round 2. Yeah. Next fight. This one's going to be good. Ignacio Bahamondes versus Tofiq Musayev. I really don't understand this matchup because I feel like Bahamondes should be fighting up. Of course, he lost to Musayev in his last fight, but I feel like losing to Musayev and then going all the way down to fight this guy is just weird to me. I mean, the guy beat Manuel Torres, he beat Jalen Turner, knocked these guys out in round 1. but then loses to Musayev. Musayev was faster, more experienced, right? And it was just a fight for Musayev to win, even though I think I picked, I did pick Musayev to win. So weird matchup here, but of course, it might just be what they call it, a layup, I guess, a good way to bounce back, you know. Tofiq, on the other hand, only one fight, lost to Urubai, and this was June 2025, hasn't fought in a while. Obviously, Ignacio here, right? It's obvious. We don't need to go that deep into this. Skill set, better. Ignacio was tall striker, creative kicks, long range. Tofiq, he is a power striker. He's aggressive, and he does have the knockout threat, but Ignacio is just a way better striker, man. But this is going to be a banger, man. This is going to be a stand-up fight. I don't think anybody's going to be initiating any grappling here. But I'm going to go with Ignacio, man. I'll go by decision. I think Tofiq has a good chin, but Bahamondes can take you out anytime. But to be honest, I think this is going to be a one-sided fight. I think Ignacio will have a good performance and school Tofiq, but I may be wrong. Then we get into the main card. Terrance McKinney versus Kyle Nelson. Terrance McKinney, man, hit or miss with this guy, man. He beats guys that he's supposed to lose to, loses to guys that he's supposed to beat. And it's like when he loses, it's in brutal fashion. When he wins, it's in brutal fashion. But man, it's more brutal when he loses. What's up? Marajai, do you think Conor is coming back? Nah, I don't think so, man. I don't think so. Look, you guys need to stop falling for Conor McGregor, man. Every single quarter, right? Conor McGregor makes this tease and makes it seem like he's coming back over and over and over again. And fans always fall for this shit. Ever since he was supposed to fight Michael Chandler, right after the Ultimate Fighter, they had a whole press conference. But then literally on the day of the press conference, that's when he pulled out of the fight. Even though he knew he wasn't going to make it. Ever since that happened, I knew Conor was done. I just knew it. Now, of course, I've seen he's been training. He's seeming more serious and he has a date that he's going to return. But I don't believe him, man. I'm not going to believe him until I actually see him in the octagon. Yeah, I don't think he's coming back. I'm not going to hold my breath on that. I want to be wrong, by the way. I do want to be wrong, right? If Conor comes back, bro, I'll come here and make several videos and be like, yeah, he proved me wrong. But my prediction still stands. We're never going to see Conor McGregor fight again in the octagon. What about Jorge? Jorge, he's been busy fixing his own fights. I think he has a fight organization, Backyard Dirty Boxing or something like that. His last fight was a rematch with Nate Diaz, but that was boxing. But it was actually fun. But no, I don't think so, man. I don't think so. I think as fans, it's time to let these guys go. It's time to look on to the next generation. But Jorge has more of a chance, though. I see him. I think Jorge is going to fight for sure. I think so. It's probably going to be boxing, probably not MMA. But Conor McGregor, zero chance. But anyways, back to this. Terrance McKinney. Where was I? Terrance McKinney. Yeah. Fast starter, dangerous submission, explosive. He's well-rounded and he has several ways that he can win a fight. But he always has to do it right away. He always does. Now, Kyle Nelson is durable and he has that grinding style and he does pretty well when it comes to surviving chaos. This is a close one. I've been going back and forth because Terrance McKinney brings chaos, but Kyle Nelson is always surviving chaos. But the more you survive chaos, the more you're going to get knocked out. McKinney, just take a look at this guy's record, man. Take a look at this guy's record. Terrance McKinney is a one-round fighter. And I don't mean that in a good way. Right? He's either losing or winning in the first round. Look at this. His most recent fight got submitted by Chris Duncan in round 1. Before that, he submitted Musayev in round 1. And then before that, knocked out Hazovic in round 1. And then before that, he got knocked out by Ribovic in round 1. Before that, he has 2 knockouts in round 1. Terrance McKinney has never gone past 1 round. But the issue is either getting finished or he's finishing his opponent. And I think this fight is going to play out the same. Take a look at Kyle Nelson. All right. All over the place as well. Very weird fight with his fight against Malfavola. Very controversial fight. I think that was the fight where the referee stopped the fight but then continued. It was very weird. But he beat Favola, got knocked out by Steve Garcia, had a knockout. So kind of inconsistent. I think this is a 50-50 fight, close fight. I think this is a pick 'em fight. But I think this is a fight for Terrance McKinney to win. I think he's gonna take this. When was his last fight again? Let me see. I want to see how long of a layoff he's had. Not that long. December. So no layoff there. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Terrance McKinney, man. But again, this is a pick 'em fight. But I'm gonna go by a knockout in round 1 because that's what he does, man. That's what he does. He's either gonna win in round 1 or lose in round 1. But either way, this is gonna be one of my bets for sure. And the bet is for this fight not to go past round 1. Yep. But yeah, I'm going to go with Terrance McKinney by a knockout round 1. Next fight, we got Mansur Abdul-Malik versus Yousri Belgaroui. Abdul, strong grappler. Pressure heavy. While Yousri is an elite kickboxer and he has a dangerous striking pedigree. But Mansur has been looking good, man. He's been looking good in the UFC. One of the new guys that I've been keeping my eyes on. Of course, he hasn't faced a high-level fighter yet, but he looks impressive in all of his fights so far in the UFC. He beat Tricoli, who's not someone to brag about beating. This guy, Tricoli, sucks, man. I mean, look at his last fight last weekend. This guy needs to be cut. I don't know what he's still doing in the UFC, but Mansur has had a good run so far. Beat Cody Bandrich, who's another bum, all due respect. But yeah, like I said, he hasn't beat anyone elite. But so you could say the same thing for Belgaroui, right? Hasn't really beat anybody. I think he's only had 2 fights. One fight in the UFC, and he lost to Bekaev, got knocked out in round 3. I'm going to go with Mansur here. I think Mansur is just going to make it a grapple-heavy fight. He will hold it on the feet, mix it up. But I think this is a one-sided matchup, in my opinion. I'll go with Mansur by a decision. Next, we got Julian Erosa versus Lerryan Douglas. This is going to be a good fight here. Julian Erosa has an interesting record of 31 wins. But then 13 losses, so he flips the 1 and 3. Douglas, new to the UFC, his debut. Erosa is way more experienced in this matchup here. But Erosa is wild, man. Wild, high volume. And he has submission threats as well, while Lerryan is a technical striker and more composed. The reason I'm picking Julian Erosa is because he's more experienced. He's faced way better fighters. And he brings the chaos, man. And he's hit or miss. While Lerryan, this is his debut. So the same stats. I don't think you're going to come into the UFC and then beat Erosa unless you're special. So I'm going to go with Julian Erosa here by a decision. It's probably going to get a finish. Damn! Douglas, 78%. What the fuck? What am I missing? All right. 1 second, I need to check something out because that's a big. Let me see what is his what is he? Let me see if I can find the betting odds here. 1 second, guys. This one just threw me off. because I have to be missing something. 1 second, I gotta check this one out. I don't understand why Topology has him at a freaking 78% pick rate. Let's see what that is about. Okay, let's see. All right, let's check the fight odds for this. Let's see. Gotta be missing something here. Julian Erosa. Okay, so looking for UFC. Let's see. Okay, so UFC Seattle. This is the main card. Ricky Simone, Casey O'Neill. All right, let's click on everything. Why isn't he on here though? So confused. I'm really trying to know why this guy is such a big pick. Okay, so we got everything up until. All right, let's get this shit here. Okay. 1 second, guys. 1 second. I'm just trying to see what the odds are on this fight. Let me see. Maybe I should check something else. Okay. Let us check this one. This one is not helpful. Okay, so we got the fighting, the betting. Okay. This one should be better. Okay. All right. Okay, there we go. This is better. No, this is not what I'm looking for. Now this is what I'm looking for. Okay. So Julian, Erosa, where you at, bruv? Is this fight canceled? Okay, there he is. So Julian Erosa. Damn, he's a 250 underdog. Lerryan Douglas is a 300 underdog. Interesting. So I have to be missing something. Let's go to Lerryan's profile. Man, this guy is on a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's on a good momentum, man. I see. Okay. Lerry. So checking out Lerryan Douglas' record right here. Had a knockout, had a submission, had a decision, but he's been fighting in LFA. He's coming off a win off Contender Series. Now I remember him. I see. And he's a finisher. His last fight had a finish in round 1, Contender Series. Before that, had a finish in round 2. Before that, had a finish in round 2. Okay, I see. So what I was missing here was this guy's chaos and his finishing instinct against Julian Erosa's chin. Erosa doesn't have the best chin, for being honest. And like I said, his hit or miss is he's like Terrance McKinney. You know, he's either finishing or getting finished. You never know. Now I understand why he's such a big favorite. So we are doing a pick flip. Pick flip right here. Gotta change it. Initially I picked Erosa, but upon further review, I will be switching my pick to Douglas by first round knockout. That's a crazy flip right there, but yeah. And now I remember this guy. Yeah, I gotta switch it. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Douglas. still, the fact is he does have a chance to lose because he's going to have that octagon jitters. But Erosa is not this guy to be scared of. He's just not, right? I think he'll be able to get this, man. I think he'll be able to have a good debut here. I think he'll pull it off. Yeah, I'm gonna switch to Douglas on this one for sure. For sure. All right, let's move on. Next fight, we got Michael Chiesa versus Niko Price. This is gonna be Michael Chiesa's retirement fight. And it's perfect against someone like Niko Price, right? This is a fight for him to win and go off to the sunset. But you never know. Both of these guys are extremely washed, all right? With all due respect. But it's a classic matchup. Chiesa, grappling specialist, although he makes some crazy, ridiculous mistakes and decisions. But he's good with the back takes and the control. Price is a wild striker, unpredictable, and has knockout power, but bro, he's done, man. I feel like Niko Price has just been in the UFC to keep getting his ass beat and make a quick buck. That's really what he's been doing. That's all he's been doing for a while now. So take a look at Chiesa's recent one. Of course, lost to McGee, he beat McGee and Griffin. Good momentum. Good momentum. And these guys are, I feel like they're more durable and in a better place in their career than Niko Price. Niko Price is closer to Tony Ferguson than any of these guys. Chiesa is actually on a 3-fight win streak, which is actually good. He's been inconsistent recently, but actually, no, I take that back. He wasn't consistent, but recently he's been on a good win because he's been getting favorable matchups. And I honestly think this is one of the most favorable matchups. Like I said, Price has just been here to get finished. This man fought Smith. Smith destroyed him, submitted him, and then Price destroyed him, knocked him out. He's on a 3-fight losing streak. His last win was over Moreno, who got caught recently. I think he's gonna get submitted here, man. I'm gonna go with Michael Chiesa. He's gonna try his best to go out with a bang, and Price is the perfect candidate to do that too. So I'm gonna go with Chiesa by a submission. But yeah, this is gonna be a chaotic fight. Next fight, we got Alexa Grasso versus Maycee Barber. This is a good fight. Good technical matchup right here. Alexa Grasso, technical boxer, former champion. Clean combination. And she does have good fight IQ. She knows how to capitalize on fighters' mistakes. And she knows how to switch it up. Maycee Barber, aggressive, physical, and she is improving her grappling. I think Barber is in a prime right now. She's on a good momentum. I think Grasso peaked at the moment she beat Shevchenko in the rematch. And ever since then, she's been on a little decline. She's slowed down. She's not as fast. She's not as dynamic as she once was. I've definitely been seeing the decline in Grasso for sure. Meanwhile, Barber is on a good momentum. But let's take a look at their run real quick. Alexa Grasso, number 3 in the rankings, of course, lost to Natalia Silva. To be fair, the fighter she's been losing to the best of the best, man. The best of the best. Natalia Silva, future champion. Right now, she's my favorite female fighter. I see her doing big things in the UFC. It's just a matter of time. Super fast. I think she's the best fighter in the women's flyweight division right now. So fair game. And then, of course, she lost to the GOAT, Shevchenko, right? Fair enough. Only the best of the best. But Barber, man, she is hungry right now. She had a weird situation where she had to pull out of a fight against Erin Blanchfield, literally on the night off, right? She was walking out. She was about to walk out, and then I don't know what happened, some weird complication, and she had to pull out. That was the latest pullout in UFC history. Crazy shit. But of course, came back, knocked out Amanda Ribas, had a unanimous decision versus Carmena, and then Silva. She's on a good momentum, man. The thing is, Barber is just aggressive. She can hold her own on the feet and on the ground. And I think she's just going to have a lot of control in this fight. I think it's Barber's time for sure. She is on a 7-fight win streak on a better momentum. Now, again, of course, Grasso has been facing way better opponents than Barber. But I think this is a fight for Barber to take advantage of. This is a close fight. This is another pick'em fight, in my opinion. Anybody can win this. But I think I'm going to go with Barber, man. I think she's just more aggressive and she will end up overwhelming Grasso. So I'm going to go with Barber by a decision here. Close fight, close fight. And then finally, we get to the main event. Israel Adesanya versus Joe Pyfer. Man, this fight. When this fight was initially announced, I did not like the matchup because I was still mourning Izzy's downfall. He's been losing, right? So crazy how Israel Adesanya is having a similar career to Anderson Silva. He was literally the second coming of Anderson Silva, but now his career is playing out the same way. The striking is so similar. His championship run was so similar, dominant, one-sided, active, never ducked anybody. But now he's on a decline, obviously past his prime. He's not as fast as he used to be. His defense is not as clean as he used to be. But it is what it is, man. It's the fight game, right? That's what happens. It's expected. But it's easy to take a look at Izzy's recent run and be like, yeah, Izzy's washed. Izzy's done. He ain't got it no more. Izzy ain't that guy, blah, blah, blah. But if you're being objective, man, Izzy has been losing to the best of the best. And when I say the best of the best, I mean the best of the best. Everybody that Izzy has lost to is either a champion, a former champion, or championship material. Last fight, got knocked out by Nassourdine Imavov, who is arguably the best striker in the middleweight division right now. Right? He's so dynamic, very technical, and he's a sniper. And Izzy was winning that fight, man. Izzy was winning that fight, but then he got careless. Like I said, he's not as fast anymore, and he got comfortable with the defense and then got caught. Which is not surprising for someone like Nassourdine Imavov. That's the type of fighter he is, to catch you when you get comfortable. Now, the fight before that got submitted by DDP. The same exact thing played out. He was having the momentum in that fight. Owning DDP, he was faster, he was more elusive. DDP was all in his face. But then got caught with a straight jab, got knocked down, and of course, got submitted. That is what happened. Before that, Sean Strickland shocked the world, one of the biggest upsets in UFC history. Fair game, not taking away anything from Strickland, but I feel like that was Strickland at his best, facing Izzy at his worst. Again, either ways, fair game, fair win. But objectively speaking, that is what that fight was. So, of course, Izzy has been on a decline, but look at the guys he's lost to, man. Alex Pereira, of course, he knocked him out in the rematch, iconic knockout. But Izzy has only lost to Pereira, Strickland, Dricus, and Imavov. Those fighters, bro, this is the top of the top right here. And you can't compare any of these guys to freaking Joe Pyfer. Take a look at Joe Pyfer's record. Of course, like I said, Israel Adesanya, elite kickboxer, precision striker, distance control, championship experience. He has all these things over Pyfer. But Pyfer has that explosive power, man. The equalizer. Doesn't matter how good you are. If he plays the game right, he will catch you clean and take you out. Dangerous early. Keyword early. And he is improving in his grappling. He has like 2 submissions right now. But again, Joe Pyfer is good early. He gets tired later on, and he's not the fastest striker. He definitely slows down as the fight keeps going on. And we all know Izzy is not a slow starter. His defense is really good early in the fight, but then eventually he gets comfortable. I don't think he's going to make that mistake in this fight. Izzy has been on a long layoff, which I think is very, very good. I really didn't think he was going to even fight this early. I actually wanted him to retire. But yeah, when this fight was first announced, I didn't like it. I was scared for Izzy, but the more I analyze this fight, the more I realize this is actually very winnable for Izzy. This is actually a good fight for Izzy. Because Joe Pyfer, you know, is getting popular in the middleweight division. But he hasn't faced anybody elite. He really hasn't. He lost to Jack Hermanson, right? But I feel like he's been matched up with fighters who he's been favored to beat. Like, these are beatable guys. Barrier, Gastelum, Magomedov. And it's good, right? This is good. These are the type of fighters he's supposed to be facing. But how do you go from losing to Hermanson 4 fights ago, facing these guys like Barrier, Gastelum, and Magomedov, and then all of a sudden jumping all the way to Izzy? That's a big jump, man. That's a big jump. Jake Long says, I think it's gonna be a good fight. Favor Izzy, but he could get caught. Absolutely, absolutely. He could get caught anytime. But if you take a look at Joe Pyfer's record, Izzy is by far the most elite fighter he's ever faced. The most elusive, the most experienced. Just, bruh. You cannot compare Izzy to anybody on this resume right here, bro. You just can't. But again, of course, he has the equalizer. He can always take that. 9 wins by knockout, 4 wins by submission, 7 first-round finishes. Now, is he going to do that against Izzy? I don't think so. I don't think so. Izzy has faced fighters who have grappling. He's faced Vettori. Let's take a look at Izzy's record real quick. Vettori, DDP. Who else? Bronson. Freaking Jan Blachowicz. All these guys have better grappling than even Whitaker, than Joe Pyfer. So I don't know. I don't think Joe Pyfer is that guy that, oh my God, his wrestling is going to be a danger. He's going to have that brute force. I don't think so. Now, he is strong. He's very physical and he's very aggressive. But I don't know, man. I think Izzy will be able to defend the takedowns. I think Izzy will be able to keep the distance and point fight him. And like I said, it's a 5-round fight, man. This is Joe Pyfer's second 5-round fight. His last 5-round fight was against Hermanson, and he lost. He lost. I don't know. The more I think about it, the more one-sided this fight feels. But again, he could get caught. MVP versus Izzy next. Pyfer versus Rodriguez next. Pyfer versus Rodriguez, that's a good fight. MVP versus Izzy, I don't think that's going to happen. Both guys, they're friends. I don't think they're going to fight each other. And honestly, I feel like MVP's career right now is it's 50-50. I don't even know. I don't know. MVP, man, he's been getting a lot of backlash, bro. His last fight, normally I defend him, but man, his last fight was absolutely boring, bro. And that has been a trend for a while. MVP has been putting on boring performances back to back. His awkward style is just one of those styles where when he puts on a knockout, a nice performance, it's amazing. But then if he doesn't, it's absolute trash, bro. Yeah, so I don't see that fight happening. I don't see that. But Rodriguez versus Pyfer. Depends on how this one goes. Bro, if Pyfer actually takes Izzy out, all of a sudden, he's up there. If Pyfer beats Izzy, he's going to be next with whoever wins between Hamza versus Strickland. Of course, Hamza is probably going to take that one. But yeah, fought his sparring partner though. Yeah, I know. But yeah, I don't know. I just don't see that happening. It's first of all, it's a random matchup. I don't know. Arman versus Georgia +2 prediction. I'm gonna go with Arman, man. Bro, Arman is a very vengeful guy. Even though he got the best out of that exchange after the fight, he's still gonna want to put on a beating on that guy, man. But yeah, I think Izzy takes this fight, man. He's just way more experienced. He's faced way better fighters. Now, of course, it's fair to say Izzy's chin is gone, but I mean, Izzy has always been known for a fighter to have a good chin. All right. The thing that is against Izzy in this fight is the age. Okay, he's getting older now. What is he? 34, right? Yeah. He's past his prime, but it is what it is. That's what happens in the fight game. But I don't know, man. I feel like this is a step too far for Joe Pyfer, man. I think Joe Pyfer, they pushed him a little bit further. But yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Izzy here, man. Like I said, I was iffy about this one. I wasn't confident, but the more I broke it down, the more I'm gonna go with him. 36, yeah, 36 is old, man, for a fighter. He's getting there. So Father Time is catching up. So what Joe Pyfer has against Izzy, of course, the brute force, the power, the youth, and that's it. I'm not even gonna sit here and say Joe Pyfer has the grappling as well. No, Izzy is good with defending takedowns. In fact, he took down Alex Pereira. But yeah, I think Izzy is gonna be able to defend the takedowns. Joe Pyfer is not this elite grappler. Hey, who knows? Who knows? Like I said, we haven't seen that much with him against an elite fighter. He might have this great grappling skill set that we haven't seen, but I don't know. I feel like Joe Pyfer is going to try to knock him out. I think Joe Pyfer is going to try to make a good statement, right, in this fight. And, you know, try to be like, I want to be the guy who knocked out Izzy clean. So I'm just going to do that. And then I'll be up for the next contender to fight for a belt. That's what I feel like that's his mindset. And that's what he's going to try to do. And that's a mistake, man. That's a mistake. And another thing I'm going to say is when DDP style was all in your face, right? Brute force, all in your face, aggressive, chaotic, all that stuff. Joe Pyfer is a little cleaner, a little more technical, right? He picks his shots. He's not going swinging and banking. He's not being crazy out there. That's not what he's going to do. That's not how he fights. But you do have to be crazy and aggressive and all in the face to beat Izzy. That is what you have to do. And I just feel like Joe Pyfer is not trying to do that. And that's why I'm picking Izzy, man. That's part of why I'm picking Izzy. Stylistically, it's just a bad matchup for Joe Pyfer. But again, I might be wrong because at the end of the day, Pyfer has that power. And Izzy is older. So who knows? Who knows? But I'm more confident, man. I am going with my guy, Izzy. Before I was like, you know what? I think Izzy is going to win by submission, but fuck it. I'm going with Izzy by a knockout in maybe like round 3. I think he's going to be feeling himself. He's going to put out, he's going to get the momentum. Pyfer is going to keep getting tired and it's just going to keep getting more one-sided. I've not seen Pyfer deal with adversity. I have seen Izzy deal with adversity and come back. I think he's going to frustrate Pyfer and school him. I'm going with my guy Izzy, man. And I think he's going to make this shit easy. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That is my final pick. But yeah, to support what I'm saying, I do have some interviews that I wanted to watch and react to. But let's see. Flying knee when Pyfer tried to take him down. Exactly. Facts. St. Kyle official. 100%. Pyfer, I think when Izzy, I think Pyfer is going to try to knock Izzy out early. Of course, like I said, he's going to try and make a statement, but then he's just going to get frustrated when Izzy keeps styling on him. And then eventually maybe Pyfer is winning several rounds and then he wants to get some control time, try to take a takedown, try to land a takedown, and boom, flying knee, knockout. But I don't know. I just envision Izzy finishing Pyfer. I do. But I might be wrong, man. There's a big chance I'm going to be wrong again because, bruh, Pyfer's power is actually scary. Didn't he beat past Francis Ngannou's record in like the knockout machine, even though we can't really take that as a serious factor, right? But yeah, I'm going with Pyfer, man. But let's take a look at Izzy's mindset going into this fight real quick.
Oh, it's a big one Saturday night, UFC Fight Night in Seattle, a middleweight main event. The former two-time champion Israel Adesanya taking on U.S. riser Joe Pyfer. And Izzy, great to get to chat with you. Let's cut right to the chase here. You know what the fans want to know. How hungry are you to turn back the losing skid and take out Joe Pyfer on Saturday?
I don't really say hungry is the word, but I am very determined. I'm very determined, and not even about the losing skid. It's just to perform. I really want to perform because when I perform, you know, wins comes, the gold comes. So yeah, my main focus this weekend is just to perform, and I know I can do that.
See, I like that mindset. He's not being delusional. He's not talking about, man, you know, I'm trying to get my path back to the belts. He knows, bro, at the end of the day, Izzy has done, he's done everything. There's nothing else to prove, right? He's still arguably the second best middleweight of all time. There's nothing, he doesn't care about the belt. I like the fact that he's saying he just wants to go out there and perform. I like that.
Well, look, this plays into this question. How much is this battle a mental one for you? You're 36, but even in the losing streak, there's been big moments where your skills are still at the top level. How do you look at this journey of turning back what happened in recent years and starting anew?
Yeah, the age doesn't really play a factor in my mind, or the streak doesn't play a factor. It's not even a mental thing. It's just going in there and performing. You know, there's no big belt on the line this time. It's a little like slower pace, but when you're under the bright lights, it's all the same. When you're in the octagon, it's all the same. It's you, your opponent, and the referee. And my previous fights, I felt great. I was looking good. I just can't lose focus even for a second. So that's one thing I've worked on in this fight, is just making sure I stay focused for 30 minutes.
We last saw you in February of last year in Saudi Arabia against Nasruddin Imavov. It did look like you were poked in the eye leading up to the knockout punch. How much do you think that played a role in that sequence?
Oh, it didn't look like I was poked in the eye, but my mistake.
That is true. That is true. He was poked in the eye. But let's see. Sorry, I cut him off. Let me see what he's gonna say.
Was trying to get the action back straight away. So next time. In future, hopefully not the next time.
I forgot about that. I forgot about that eye poke. And like I said, Izzy was winning that fight against Mavov, so he was in his flow of things. He didn't want the eye poke to get in the way, because sometimes, you know, if you take that long of a break, he was already winning the fight. He already had the momentum, but of course, his eye was still a little compromised. And that's not an excuse. That is legit. He didn't take the time, and he got caught.
I will take my time.
Well, look, it's a big deal for the fans Paramount Plus in Seattle to have you back in such a big fight. Joe Pyfer is stepping up to the highest level of his career to date, riding a win streak. What do you believe is under the tank that you're going to face against Philadelphia's finest on Saturday?
I think he's going to come ready, because this is the biggest fight of his career yet. So yeah, I think he's gonna come ready. But I've been here before. I've been here many times, and
Yeah.
I know exactly what to do with myself to get the victory.
Do you feel like he can match you in any department?
Not with the stand-up, no. I believe he'll have to shoot quite early. Excuse me, quite early, just because they always do. They always do. I make them because
You see, I like that Izzy said that. So he's not going in there being delusional like this is going to be some stand-up battle. He's expecting Pyfer to shoot even early. So shout out to St. Kyle official. He's probably going to get that flying knee knockout. So, of course, like I said, Izzy has the takedown defense. He's fought way better grapplers. And you know that's something he's been training for sure. The striking is no problem. So he just has to keep that distance, stay ready for those takedowns, and avoid getting hit clean. And that's his specialty. Now, of course, he's slower. But again, Pyfer is not this fast striker, right? He's okay.
because a stand-up is just a different game, different level. So, but if he wants to stand with me, I welcome it. I welcome the challenge. And if he wants to shoot and grapple, I welcome that challenge too. Because I just want to perform. There's some things I do in the gym that's my motivation. I just want to do things that I do in the gym under the bright lights in real life.
You're coming into this a little bit more than a one-year layoff. What have you been working on, or has there been any major changes to your preparation ahead of this matchup?
Major, no. Minor, yes. Just things that I can control. Things that I can control outside the gym, like your sleep, stress levels. Yeah, little things that all add up. And also working with a new strength and conditioning coach, Bill Smart, who I've got to work with for over a year. He's really made me a better athlete. So yeah, I'm excited to showcase this.
The middleweight championship has been a little hot potato-like since you last held it in your second reign. Now around the waist, of course, of unbeaten Khamzat Chimaev. What are your thoughts of his takeover at 185 here?
Yeah, he did well to get the belt, but I'm not sure what's holding him up or why. Maybe it was visa issues. I'm not sure. I don't really follow that. I don't really follow the MMA news as much, but I'm not sure what's holding it up because, I felt like he would be an active champion. He should be an active champion because he's a guy that likes to fight a lot when he was coming up, just like me. But when I got the belt, I didn't let that slow me down. I was active. I was calling out everybody. I was trying to find the best and fight them. So I think he should be doing the same.
Facts, man. And that's one of the things I always give Izzy credit for. One of the most active champions. Never ducked anybody. He was one of those champions who had to start lapping the division. Yeah, you guys remember, right? When Alex Pereira got into the UFC, he had like, 2 wins and then beat Strickland. But then Izzy called Pereira out and said he wanted that fight. When Pereira faced Izzy the first time in the UFC, it was undeserved. The only reason it was interesting was because they had history in kickboxing. But he didn't have to have that fight. Izzy called Pereira out. He was out of opponents. He wasn't one of those champions that was like, oh yeah, Pereira has to put in the work. He has to put in the effort. He needs to rack up more wins. Nah, he didn't do none of that bullshit. Called him out. Izzy has always been consistent, always been super active, and ducked nobody. He never had any scandal or rumor of, oh my God, Izzy's ducking. You've never had Israel Adesanya and duck in the same sentence. Never. And I think that was part of his decline. He was too active. I think so. But yeah, that's why I always give him props. Comparing it to today's champions like Khamzat, of course, Khamzat has more complications like his health in the past and his undeniable that he has visa issues. So not gonna blame him like that. But the active champion era is over, man. We're not seeing that anymore. The only person who's tried to be that is Merab, and he overdid it, and of course lost. Being too active is definitely a thing, and I think that was part of that's part of why Izzy started losing. He was too active.
You know, when we talk about mindset and you want to come in here and you want to perform and feel your best, are you eyeing a third run at this championship belt? Is that a huge part of the goal and motivation in this fight?
No. The motivation and the goal in this fight is to get in there, perform against Joe Pyfer. And
You see, that's what I'm saying, man. I'm loving his mindset. I haven't watched these interviews, but the more I'm listening to Izzy talk, the more I'm confident. He doesn't care about the belt. He's not even interested. He just wants to perform. And this is the first time I'm hearing him say that. I think his fight against Nasruddin, he was trying to win that fight and get back to the belt. Of course, Dricus was for the belt, you know. This is the first fight that I'm hearing him be like, yeah, he doesn't even care about that pathway. That's done and dusted. He's just trying to perform. I love that mindset.
win.
I mean, you wouldn't turn down the opportunity to put yourself
Hell
back
no.
in the title picture, I would assume.
Like I said, if I perform and I win, when I do that, everything comes. The money comes, the gold comes, the prestige comes, everything comes through.
When you go through a couple defeats and that invincibility gets challenged, how tough is that battle?
It's not tough if you're me, because I've had losses outside the cage before, so I know how to come back from those. So this isn't any different. Like, I walk down the street, they still call me champ. They still show me love. I'm still me. I'm still Israel Adesanya. So that doesn't affect me the way it would other people.
St. Kyle says Izzy's confidence is a true fighter. He knows what he can do when he's in the I'm liking his confidence, man. I mean, like, he's fighting Joe Pyfer, who's a decent fighter, has had a nice run so far, you know, but the experience levels levels above, bruv. You know, the skill set levels above. So yeah, I'm liking his mindset. And bruh, compared to the fighters that Izzy has faced in the last how long? Joe Pyfer is like the least skilled fighter that he's faced in a long time. In a long time, bro. Look at this guy's resume. I'm trying to see, I guess since Gastelum, and that was a banger fight. Since 2019, Joe Pyfer is arguably the least skilled fighter that Izzy has faced. Now, of course, now in hindsight, Romero, Costa, these guys are washed, Vettori. But at the time when Izzy faced these guys were like the boogeyman, the scary guys. When Izzy faced Romero, a lot of people thought Romero was going to win that fight. He was the boogeyman. When he faced Costa, I was very scared. Costa was undefeated at that time. He was the boogeyman as well. Scary guy. Vettori was a threat as well. Izzy caused the decline of all these guys. Now people look at Paulo Costa as, man, Paulo Costa is a bum. That's because of Izzy. Ever since Izzy destroyed him, he's been on a decline. Same thing for Vettori. Same thing for Romero. Right? So it's easy to say, yeah, to downplay his resume and hate on it in hindsight. But you got to remember, the reason why these guys are looked at as not that good anymore is because of Israel Adesanya. And that's a fact.
Your old rival and foe, Alex Pereira, who you've had two incredible middleweight title contests with after, of course, your rivalry in kickboxing, going up to the heavyweight division in June, the co-main event of the UFC White House event. What do you believe his success will be in that division at heavyweight?
I'm not sure about the division, but I think he'll do very well in this next fight, and he possibly will be the first ever triple champ in the UFC. And
Man, I've been liking the relationship between Israel Adesanya and Alex Pereira. Today, Pereira posted getting knocked out by Izzy and put a long paragraph giving flowers to Izzy and wishing him luck. I love that, man. I love that. And Izzy is always rooting for Pereira. Here he is saying he believes Pereira is actually going to be the first triple champion. It's really wonderful to watch, man. And it's just a lot of respect, man, between Pereira and Izzy. And that's what I love to see. And it makes you rethink things, right? Because sometimes fans like to take these fights personal. They like to make it personal. They like to make it about themselves. Literally, Izzy was getting a lot of hate because I guess the whole rivalry with Portland and stuff like that. But now they're good, practically friends. And I love the way they acknowledge how important they are in their career. Izzy knocking out Pereira was the highlight of his UFC career. It was the highlight of coming back from adversity in a fantastic way. Pereira beating Izzy was the highlight of his career as well. That was how he became a star in the UFC. Of course, he went on to become 2 division champion, legend, all that stuff. But Izzy was the most important part of his combat sports career. Shit, if Izzy wasn't talking shit about Pereira before he joined the UFC, he wouldn't have been motivated to even join. Right? So I love the way they both respect each other now, and they're always rooting for each other. It's a nice thing to see.
that'd be cool to see.
Have you guys built a rapport over the years of the rivalry where there's a friendship or respect at this level, or is there this feeling like there's always one more fight?
Nah.
It's a respect thing now. Friendship is slowly building. The language barrier, and also we're not in each other's spaces or countries. But nah, I'd like to see him succeed because it's cool to see someone that I've shared so much with in the octagon go on and do big things as well. And yeah, it's awesome to see.
Incredible. And of course, we have a title fight coming up with Chimaev making that first title defense against Sean Strickland in Newark. You've shared the cage with Strickland before. How big of a dog is he in this fight in your eyes? Can he upset the apple cart?
I think he can if it goes to the later rounds and he doesn't get taken down. But again, Chimaev is a bat out of hell. He's a guy that comes aggressively straight away, and Strickland can match that probably, but we'll see. And they've trained together, so this is probably something that happened in the gym that we are not privy to. So
True.
yeah, that'll be interesting. But I look forward to watching it and reacting to it on YouTube.
Well, Izzy, you're a living legend, delivered so many amazing performances, and you're not done yet. We'll see you Saturday against Joe Pyfer. What should the fans expect tuning in Saturday night to Paramount Plus?
Expect the show. This is not going to be one where I fight conservatively. So yeah, expect the show.
Yes, sir.
Can't wait for it. Thank you so much, time.
Now, I hope he's exaggerating a little bit there, because I do think he does need to be a little bit conservative in the way he's fighting. I hope so. But yeah, I like that he's trying to put on a performance, and I think he's gonna style on Pyfer. I hope he's a little bit conservative. I don't think he should go out there and get too confident and go crazy. That's the recipe for getting caught. Alex has already given his blessing to Izzy based on Alex appreciation post of it. Yeah, Chama. Yes, sir. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. It was nice to see, man. Bro, it's one thing to wish your former rival luck. They're cool and everything. But bro, I just feel like it's a whole other level posting a nice edited video of getting knocked out while giving him his flowers. Like he could have posted way other things. But obviously that was the best highlight of Izzy's career. But Alex Pereira actually posted that, which is cool, man. It shows how masculine the guy is. He's not insecure. He knows that was in the past. really doesn't matter now with the way he's about to have his heavyweight debut. The man has already dominated light heavyweight, did his thing in middleweight. Now he's in heavyweight. So he's secure enough to post something like that. Very, very respectable thing. Very respectable thing. But yeah, I'm liking his mindset here. But anyways, yeah, that's my pick for UFC Seattle. Still thinking on if I'm going to do a stream for that, but I don't know. But another thing I wanted to get into here, man, before we get out. Colby Covington, man. Colby Covington. So, Colby has been, Colby Covington has been on this media tour. He's pretty much like a UFC disgruntled employee at this point. As we all know, Colby has been this MAGA fighter, always glazing Donald Trump and MAGA and everything. But we all knew this was a persona, right? Anybody with an IQ above room temperature knows that Colby Covington has been putting on a fake persona for the majority of his career. We've seen the mask slip several times. After his second fight with Usman, the guy was whispering in Usman's ear, talking about how he just wanted to sell the fight. You know, he respects him, stuff like that. Fake beef. Everything. Now, I don't know which one is worse, actually believing in the things that he says or faking it, you know. I don't know which one is worse. I'll let you guys decide that in the comments. Let me know. But Colby had a strategy for his career. He would glaze Dana White, glaze the UFC as a company. Anytime a fighter tries to stand up to the UFC, Colby will always be the guy to be like, shut up and do your job and follow master. Glaze Donald Trump, glaze MAGA. But of course, his career hasn't been going down. He's on a what? How many fight losing streak is Colby on? First of all, I can't believe he's still ranked in the welterweight division, right? Doesn't make any sense. But he's on a massive losing streak. He's declining his number 14 in the rankings right now. His last fight got destroyed by Buckley, lost to Leon Edwards. His last win was in 2022 against Masvidal. His activity has declined massively. I don't even know if he's still a fighter. His last fight was some wrestling fight, which is irrelevant. So he's down bad. Now, Colby has been glazing Trump, MAGA, Dana, UFC in order to have favor in the UFC, right? But it turns out that hasn't worked out. Everything has backfired. This guy really thought he was gonna be in the UFC White House. And ever since that card was announced, Colby has been pissed, bruh. Colby has realized that all the glazing he's been doing for years was for nothing. And it's really nice to see. So it seems like Colby Covington is done with all that MAGA shit, all that bullshit. And apparently he's quote unquote getting out of politics, which is a ridiculous statement because he was never into politics. It's one thing to be a glazer of political candidates. It's another thing to act like you were this guy who had any political knowledge. But he's been on a media tour complaining, whining, and crying about the UFC. It's obvious he's butthurt that he's not in the UFC White House. But now he's talking about things like fighter pay, talking about how the UFC used him, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, bruh, he's such a freaking hypocrite because these are things that fighters have said in the past. And Colby has always been a defender, telling fighters to shut up. So we're going to look at a few interviews that Colby has been having. Like I said, he's been on a media complaints tour. And it's just so funny to watch because, bro, he doesn't have any leverage. He's not exposing anything. But hey, let me give him the benefit of the doubt. So there are a few interviews that I want to get into here. He had an interview with Ariel Helwani. He also had an interview with Bloody Elbow, and both interviews were put out in the same day. And before that, he also had an interview with Submission Radio. I'll see if I'll cover that. But it's been the same thing. This man is complaining. So he talks about the UFC White House card being snubbed. I don't know what he thought was going to happen. This guy is really delusional. He actually thought he was going to be in the UFC White House. After being so freaking inactive, ducked Ian Gary after calling him out, ducked all the fighters. The only reason he fought Buckley was because he was forced to, and he really thought he was going to be in the White House. So let's get into his complaints. Let's see here. I have says easy Pyfer win. I don't know if that's gonna be easy, man, but we'll see. All right, let's get into Colby Covington's interview with Ariel Hawani. Let's get into this.
Our first guest of the day is here, and they tell me he's here, and I need to see it to believe it. It has been 6 long years since I spoke to this man, and he is in fact here. My old friend Colby Covington on the program. I'm not sure if hell has frozen over. I'm not sure what happened, or perhaps Chad Bronstein is the true dream maker in all of this, because you're competing for him at RAF 7, and it has been a hell of a long time since we last spoke. I'm delighted to see you, Colby. Welcome back to the show. It's great to see you. How are you?
Thanks, Ariel. I appreciate it, man. It's good to talk to you again. You know, long overdue.
St. Kyle says, let's watch together the full fight card. Hope you're taking live stream for commenting. Yeah, I'm thinking about it, man. I'm thinking about it. I might have some of my folks over, but I don't know. If not, then I'll go live. Yeah, but I'll definitely hope you subscribe, St. Kyle, because if I'm going live, which it's 50-50 at this point, I will definitely set it up from tomorrow so you'll be able to see. But yeah, most likely, bro, most likely.
And I'm doing great. How you doing? How's the family?
Everyone's doing great. I appreciate that. Could I ask, where have you been, man? Where have you been? What happened to us, Colby? We had a great thing. What happened?
Yeah, I've been all over the place. You know, nothing happened. You know, we're all good. You know, nothing but love and respect from my end. You know that. But you know, I've been a busy man. You've been a busy man. So you know, our schedules haven't met, but they've met here now, thanks to the great powers of Chad Bronstein and all he's done for RAF and Real American Beer. So I'm excited to chat with you again today.
All right.
A lot to discuss.
A lot to discuss, absolutely. And so welcome back to the show. I'm excited to have you. I'm excited to talk about it all. I will ask you first and foremost about RAF and your match this weekend against Dylan Dennis. You've been out there doing a lot of promotion. There it is. It's going down March 28th, Fox Nation, 8 p.m. Eastern, Tampa, Florida.
So you see this? This is what I'm talking about, man. This is what I'm talking about. So Colby Covington is out here complaining and crying about not being in the UFC White House. Meanwhile, his last fight was a wrestling fight, I think against Luke Rockhold. And the highlight of that whole event was Colby and Rockhold absolutely destroying Bo Niko. That was nice to watch. But then his next fight is another wrestling fight against Dylan Dennis. I mean, this guy is down bad, man. So he has 2 back-to-back wrestling fights, but he's upset that he's not on the UFC White House card. And hey, if you're subscribed to me, you know I'm not this UFC. I don't defend the UFC or Dana White. I'm always criticizing them. But I'm not going to sit here and act like the UFC is doing anything wrong by not putting this guy on the White House card. Now, that White House card was very disappointing, but the main reason it was disappointing was because Dana White exaggerated that card, and it was just impossible to match what he wanted. But objectively, the White House card is actually decent. It's an okay card. It's a fun fight card. But Colby Covington has 2 back-to-back wrestling fights, but he's upset that he's not on the UFC White House card.
What the fuck is that?
Make that make sense, bro. Make that make sense.
And I've seen you out there doing, the media rounds. I don't see a lot from Dylan. And so I'm just wondering, given his history, is there any part of you that is worried about him not showing up on something?
All right, let's skip this part.
7, but if he's willing to come out and do that.
Friend, you've said some different stuff that we haven't expected from you. Are we now seeing a new and improved or different side of you?
No, it's still the same Colby, Ariel. You know, I mean, obviously, as we get older, we grow and we mature. And I've definitely matured through the years. And, I understand now that, that sometimes you got to bite your tongue on some things and not just go full out and, speak with your emotions. You need to speak with logic, with truth, with facts. So I'm just being myself. In the past, I was just unapologetic, and I wasn't afraid to take the road less traveled. So even if it was going to lose me some friends or get me upset with the bosses that be, but I'm just
Sure.
me. I'm not being any different than I've ever been. Maybe I'm just a little bit mature in age now.
Do you have regrets? Given that, and I appreciate and respect that, do you have any regrets about things you did or said over the last 6-7 years?
Nope.
No, absolutely not. Because if I had regrets, I wouldn't be who I am today. I feel like every decision I've made in my life, every interaction that's happened in my life has defined my character.
Yeah. I'm sure he doesn't have regrets with the stupid shit he said in the past, but he definitely has regrets with the whole glazing, political glazing UFC, glazing Dana White. He definitely is regretting that. If not, he wouldn't be on this media complaints tour complaining about the UFC and how they screw fighters, how they don't pay their fighters, how they snubbed him, how they never offered him to fight Bo Nickel. He wouldn't be complaining about all these things if he didn't have any regrets. I'm sure he doesn't regret the things he said in the past, but he definitely regrets the way he just, bruh, with all due respect, man, this guy has been hugging the nuts of the UFC, bruh. Just being real. He definitely regrets that.
It's created who I am today. So, I'm just trying to be the best person I am today. I don't want to look in my past and dwell on something and be like, hey, you did this wrong, but maybe I wouldn't be here talking to you today if these things wouldn't happen. So, I believe that everything happens for a reason. I have faith, and, I don't regret anything.
As I think there was once a time that I worked at ESPN, and I was a big championer of your cause, so to speak. They would tell me I can't have Colby Covington on my show live, and I would say absolutely not. They would tell me you couldn't wear the MAGA hat. I would say absolutely not. He has to wear whatever he wants to wear. We did a video of you meeting the troops Fleet Week. I believed in what you were trying to do, and I understood where you were coming from. I know we haven't talked in a while, but I think that I come from a sincere place when I say this. If I can push back on one thing, I think that the Leon Edwards thing was the one time where you went over the line. If we could pick one time, do you have regret for saying what you said about Leon's father?
No, I don't have regrets.
Bro, Ariel needs to stop asking about regrets in terms of things he said. All right, Colby Covington is a piece of shit. He doesn't have regrets of going over the line. And when he said that, he said something about, oh yeah, he's gonna He messed up his lines. He wanted to say he's going to send Leon Edwards to the 7 layers of hell, but he said 7 layers of hair. But of course, Leon Edwards' dad has passed away. So he was pretty much saying Leon Edwards is going to meet his dad in hell, which was just like, bro, what the fuck? But he's a piece of shit. That's why I was like, bro, I don't know which one is worse, acting like you're a piece of shit or being an actual piece of shit. Either one, he is, right? So Ariel needs to stop asking him if he regrets anything he said. He's not gonna backtrack on anything, but he does regret the way he handled his career for sure.
You see, even President Trump, bad people, when they do bad things, we're not going to put pity and we're not going to feel sorry for bad people. He wasn't a good person. He definitely affected a lot of people's lives, Ariel. But I'm not going to talk about him. That's something in the past, but it's not like he was a saint. He wasn't a good person. And, I don't feel bad for what I said. Obviously I got caught in the heat of the moment. I'm trying to sell pay-per-views. UFC was putting a lot of pressure to me at that time. Hey, we need you to sell pay-per-views. We need you to be an entertainer. We need you to do this. We need you to do that. So I felt like I had to step up and I had to do something to make a big boom.
Interesting. Now, I don't know if one thing about Colby, you can say you can say anything. You can say so many bad things about him, but lying is not something I've really known Colby for. So it's interesting that he's saying the UFC used to tell him, hey, you got to sell this fight. You got to sell it as much as you can. I wonder if that's actually true. Like they were telling me, hey, go crazy, say whatever, sell the fight. But then, of course, all that shit was for nothing.
That was going to sell a lot of pay-per-views. So, maybe, I don't regret that, though, for sure. It's not like he was a good person, but it is what it is. That's life. The thing is there's only one perfect person, and that's the man above. So, I'm not perfect. We've all said things in our past that we probably wish we could take back, but I don't wish I could take it back. I just wish that, I could learn from it. And I did learn from it, Ariel. And I feel like I'm a better person now because of it. And, something like that is never going to happen again. There's just no reason to go there.
Okay, fair enough. And so considering all of that, you say that, you were trying to sell pay-per-views, be the company guy, be the guy for the UFC. And I've seen your interviews as of late, Submission Radio, MMA Junkie this week. And correct me if I'm wrong with this assessment. You seem quite frustrated. You seem quite upset with not getting fights, not getting on the White House card. You mentioned to Submission Radio that you think Hunter Campbell doesn't like you, and he's kind of put you on ice after you took a fight against Joaquin Buckley on short notice in December of 2024. Can you tell the audience how you feel about your relationship with the UFC and your spot in the UFC right now, considering all of this?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, my relationship with the UFC is always going to be good in my book because they've changed my life, Ariel. They've made me, a self-made multimillionaire. I came from nothing. I came from a blue-collar family that had absolutely nothing in Oregon. Now I can, take care of my parents' houses, take care of their cars, and do things that never would have been possible without the UFC. So, I'm always going to be grateful for the UFC. What I spoke out the other day was just, a little frustration. I thought that, I would have been rewarded with the White House fight. I said, hey, Hunter, I'll fight anybody on God's green earth. You want to put me against John Jones at heavyweight? Let's do it. It sells. We're former roommates.
Of course.
So let's do it. But, he had other plans. He didn't have any plans for me on the White House. He said the fight card was booked and there was no.
I mean, the audacity, man. Kobe really thought that he would duck a lot of people in the welterweight division and then all of a sudden come back to tell Hunter Campbell or whoever, hey, I'll fight anybody in the White House card. Bruh. Any fighter will fight anybody in the White House card. All right. Okay. Not any fighter, because a lot of fighters have standards. Like Brando Moreno, he was like, he's not trying to fight in front of freaking millionaires. He only wants to fight in front. Said he doesn't want to fight in front of elites. It's like some Hunger Games shit, which is facts. He wants to fight in front of fans. But a lot of fighters wanted to be in the UFC White House. And anybody who wanted to fight at this UFC White House card was absolutely down to fight whoever they offered. Most fighters will not say no. So I don't know why he's acting like he's saying something special here. Oh yeah, I was down to fight anybody on the White House card. So was everybody else, bro. So was everybody else.
No availability. There was only a few slots open and they were all booked. So, I was a little frustrated. I spoke out of emotions and I'm mad at myself because of that. But I love the UFC. The relationship's always going to be good. I have a meeting with them in a couple weeks. Maybe you could bridge the gap. You want to go to the meeting with me, Ariel?
I think that could help. I think I could help bridge the gap.
So.
Yes.
Yeah. I think if you sat down next to me, you represent me, and we just talk to Hunter. We have a good talk in Miami when they come to the Miami show in a couple weeks. I think we can get this all resolved.
I would love that. I would love nothing more. I think that would be tremendous theater. I'm not sure how much it would help you in the end, so I don't want to screw you. But I will say your tone is very different than just a couple of days ago. I don't know when that interview was shot, but you seemed enraged. You seemed very mad, and I understood where you were coming from. You were the first guy to bring that belt to the White House. You've been talking about Donald Trump. You seem to be a shoo-in for this card, and so your omission seemed very noticeable.
Facts, because he was really, bro, it's not just the interview with MMA Junkie. The man has been complaining, like I said, had an interview with Bloody Elbow, had an interview with Submission Radio. He's been whining and crying about not being in the White House card, but now his tone is changing a little bit. He said he has some meeting, so of course he has to change his tone. It looks like Kobe still wants to fight in the UFC, I guess, but he's always been an opportunistic guy, man. He's always been someone who would only take fights if he sees himself gaining something from it. When was the last time Kobe took a fight that he didn't see anything he would gain out of it, right? Like I said, he took the fight with Joaquin Buckley. He said it was short notice, but I don't remember that being short notice. I remember that fight being announced very, in good time before the fight actually came to fruition. But his tone has changed a little bit, so it makes me curious on, what that meeting is going to be about. If he's going to get like I said, I don't know, man. This guy is all over the place. So is this pattern I'm realizing from people backtracking from their glaze of MAGA and Dana and all that stuff, but at the same time still want to be in good graces, right? They're like on the fence. So he's gone on the whole complaints tour, but now he's like, I spoke, I was emotional and I shouldn't have been so emotional, but he was so pissed, man. I know he's still pissed, but he's still trying to be in the good graces with the UFC. It's obvious.
Yeah, honestly, I think a lot of the emotions and like that frustration was coming from people outside of me. It wasn't really me. Like I didn't really care. I was like, you know what? Like,
sure.
I wanted it. I cared. Obviously, I cared. I wanted to be on that White House.
I didn't really care. I didn't really care about it. But, actually, I cared. I like that he caught himself lying because that was obvious. You can't complain that much and then say you didn't care. I like that he caught himself.
It means everything to fight, in front of all the politicians in D.C., in front of, the greatest living president we've ever had, Donald Trump. But I was like, you know what? Like,
Yeah.
I've been to the White House. I delivered the belt to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. I went in the Oval Office. You know, I toured the White House. I was there on election night. You know, President Trump invited me to the White House on election night countless times, twice, and I enjoyed those experiences. So like, it's
You see what Kobe is doing here? He's talking about how, man, he's been to the White House. I've glazed Trump so much, man. I got orange all over my lips, man. I've offered the president the belt, all this good stuff. Notice how that's what he's saying he's done to deserve to fight in the White House. Meanwhile, other fighters are talking about how they've been active. They've not ducked anybody. They've been a company man. They're always fighting. They're always consistent. Kobe really thinks that all the glazing of the president and MAGA and all that stuff is what should have granted him the privilege of fighting at the White House. Not his activity, not what he's done as a fighter, not the fighters he's beat, not his streak, none of that shit. This man really thinks that he should be fighting at the White House because he glazes Trump, not because he's a good active fighter that fans want to see fight. Nobody wants to see Colby Covington fight. Nobody wants to see Colby Covington fight at the White House. When they talked about UFC White House, literally Colby Covington was not in anybody's mind, including Trump. But yet this man really thought his years of glazing was gonna give him that access. Talk about delusional.
different for me. Like, I don't need to go to the White House again. I know I can get those invites to go anyways, but I don't need to go fight there. I could fight anywhere in the world. But it was my friends, and honestly, it was my parents. My parents were coming to me. They were so mad. They were like, Kobe, oh my gosh. They were like screaming, like cussing, like.
So now Kobe is saying that it's not him who was necessarily upset. It's his parents and his family and friends who were so upset. And then he absorbed the anger from them and then expressed it. This man is just trying to backtrack. He went on a whole rampage talking bad about the UFC. First of all, he talked about fighter pay. He talked about how the UFC uses fighters. Talked a lot of shit, bruh. But now he's going to have a meeting with them and he's trying to sanitize everything he said. He's literally backtracking from everything that he said. And everything he said was true. It was facts. But now he's backtracking and trying to say, man, you know, at the end of the day, it wasn't really me who was upset. It was my family who was upset. So I was just expressing it. They got into my head. Bruh, does that make any sense?
What the fuck is that?
I wish he would just own up, man, and pick a ground to stand on. But hey, I'm enjoying the embarrassment because he's literally embarrassing himself. He went from glazing to being upset, acting like a disgruntled employee. Now he's like towing the lines, trying to say, yeah, you know, I'm not really upset. My family got into my mind. I've not heard that before.
F the UFC, I can't believe they did this to you. You were so loyal to them. You took a fight on your last fight with Buckley. You didn't even train. You were on the campaign trail for 6 months. You were all in about America, Trump, and then they don't give you this honor. Like, the least they could do is give you.
I guarantee you his family didn't say any of that shit. You know, you took a last fight with Buckley and you didn't even train. Fucking liar. Y'all believe that shit? This man is lying. Kobe is out here saying he didn't train for Buckley. Notice how he sneaked that in there? Am I supposed to believe that Colby Covington really didn't train to fight Buckley? Man, stop the cap, bruh.
This fight, like, you did them a favor on short notice last time, like, and you know, that's what got to me, Ariel. It's just like, I didn't speak with from my heart. You know, I let other people's emotions affect how I was talking, and I regret that. If there's any regrets, maybe I regret that I spoke from other people's emotions. But you know, you're right.
So the only thing he regrets is speaking the truth and expressing his frustration. He doesn't regret the messed up shit he said in the past. He doesn't regret going so low in his fight against the press conference against Leon Edwards. He doesn't regret any of that shit, but he regrets being upset at Dana White and the UFC. That's what he regrets. This guy is such a coward, bro.
There's a new tone now, and you know, I look at my life today and I'm like, dude, I'm sitting in an R8 right now. You know, I have a beautiful life. You know, I got a great match in RAF this weekend, you know, in Tampa, Florida, Yingling Center. I got great friends, you know, great support. You know, what is there to complain about?
That is fair. That's 100% fair. I will ask, though, Bo Niko was on the show, and he said you were offered a match against him, a fight against him at the White House. Is this inaccurate based on what you experienced? Were you ever offered a fight against Bo Niko? Here's the tweet. He said it to me as well. What happened?
Yeah, that's 100% fake news, Ariel. We could call Hunter Campbell right now. I'll put him on the phone right now. He never offered me Bo for the White House.
All right, I don't care about. I don't care about that. Let's see if there's anything else here.
Ultimate Company.
More.
You know, I tell them, you know, like, you're not even the best hot dog flipper in your family. How are you going to talk about one of the greatest fighters of the night? You know, someone that's got a big name. You know, someone
Offering you anything that you like or not keeping you active? Will you ask for your release?
years in me. So if UFC can't use me, then, you know, I'm glad that RAF and Chad Bronstein can, because, you know, I'm going to give them my best, and you know, I'm going to make sure I sell this company to the moon.
We have seen some, you know, unrest among some top stars. If it comes to the point where they're not offering you anything that you like or not keeping you active, will you ask for your release?
Oh man, that's a tough question. You put me on the spot. Well, that's for my release. I mean, I think if they're just cool with who I wrestle in RAF and just let me do my thing, then no, I won't ask for my release, because I'll be happy with everything I've been able to do and the life I've been able to create through the UFC. You know, I still want to have a good relationship with the UFC. I still love the UFC and everything they've done for me, and I want to help be a part. I know they probably don't want my help in any way, shape, or form, which is cool. You know, it doesn't hurt my feelings. But
why do you feel that way? Why do you feel they don't like you and Hunter in particular?
I've always known it, because honestly, Ara, they've never promoted me. They've never went like out of their way. And then also, whenever they ever have those like little fan expos or like meet and greets for the fighters where they pay them like 10, 20 grand, I've never been invited to one in like 6, 7 years, you know? So I know what it is. I know where my place stands, but I know I'm also good for business, and I sell tickets, I put asses in seats, and sell pay-per-views. So, you know, I know the star that I am, and the revenue that I generate for this company.
So when you see some of these other, like John Jones, right, your old friend, asking for his release and whatnot, is there any part of you that is like, oh, I should do that too, or you're not willing to go down that path right now? You want to be in the UFC, you just want to have a good working relationship and be offered fights, because you did say you haven't been offered a fight, and contractually you're supposed to be offered 3 a year.
Yeah, I want to be treated fairly, and I want to be treated like I am. Are we not all independent contractors? I just feel like they've been treating me, Ariel, like an employee. You know, I want to wrestle against everybody RAF has to offer. You know, I want to wrestle against Sarukian. You know, that's
all right. So he's all over the place. So first, glaze the hell out of the UFC, glaze the hell out of Trump, glaze MAGA, all that shit. But didn't really focus on his career in terms of fighting. And he thought he could get into the White House because he glazes Trump. But it's backfired. He then expresses his anger, he's upset, talks mad shit about the UFC, right? Says they don't pay their fighters, they're always using their fighters, they don't, Hunter Campbell doesn't like me, blah, blah, blah. But then he's backtracking now, saying he wasn't really upset. His family got into his head. Kobe is saying he wasn't really upset about the UFC White House. It was his family who was more upset. And then he got into his head, and then he went on all these interviews talking shit about the UFC. But now he's more of himself, and he regrets talking back about the UFC. But then at the same time, Hunter Campbell doesn't like him. They don't really offer him favorable matchups. Bro, he's just all over the place, bro. But yeah, Kobe's down bad, man. Kobe's down bad, but it's a good thing to see. Hey, what up, 10-7, man? What's up, bro? How's it going, man? Worried about my boy this week. I know, man. I know. I was talking about it earlier, man. Look, prime for prime, Izzy's way better than Pyfer, man. He's got the experience, the skill set, fought way better opponents, got the championship, generalship. Like, bruh, he's been in way more. When was the last time Izzy was in a 3-round fight? Can't even fathom that. But Pyfer has that equalizer, man. Obviously, Izzy's chin has declined. So it's a scary fight. And, bro, when they announced that fight, initially, that's what I was talking about earlier, bro. I was worried, man. But I don't know, man. I kind of feel better now. The more I watch Izzy's interviews, I like that he's had a long layoff. I think it was needed. I think Izzy was too active. I like that he's not talking about, oh yeah, I'm gonna get back to the belt, bro. I'm trying to get back. He's not talking about any of that shit. He's trying to perform. He's trying to put on a show for fans. And I think his mindset is good, man, but I'm still very nervous, man. I'm still very nervous because Pyfer got that equalizer, man. Pyfer got that equalizer. Shout out to 10-7 MMA, man. I'm always in his channel. Good content. Y'all subscribe to the 10-7, all right? Good predictions and betting tips from 10-7, man. Shout out to those guys over there. But yeah, I think Izzy got it, man. I think Izzy got it. I'm just going to sit back, relax, and enjoy this one. I do wish he was an underdog because this would have been a good underdog pick, but I'm less worried than I initially was. I'll say that. I'll say that. But guys, been live for how long now? And yeah, 10-7, I'm trying to go earlier, stream earlier now, so you can catch me earlier. But yeah, guys, I did a detailed breakdown of the main event, all right? I put it in the chat right now. Go watch it. Put all the stats out there. Went in because on the stream, of course, I went over the full card. But go ahead, man. Do me a favor, right? Do me a favor. Go check out that video. Drop a like. Hype the video. You know, drop a comment. Help out a small channel, man. All right? You know, just like the video. That's all I ask. And trust me, man, I'm a good predictor, so that'll be a good watch. It ain't hard. Help out a small channel. You know how the algorithm works, okay? So go ahead and help me out with that, man. Go ahead and click on that. Tyler Betts, what's up, man? Welcome, bro. Welcome, welcome. Welcome, man. How's it going? But yeah, guys, go ahead and click on that link that I just put in the channel. I've been doing this new format where I break down the fights in a real technical matter. I put out all their stats with the graphics and everything, and I've been seeing you guys really like that format. So I'm going to keep doing it that way. So I just put out this video yesterday. So if you want the full in-depth breakdown of the main event, go ahead and check that out. I feel like a lot of people are missing things here. A lot of things I didn't say on this stream. So appreciate you guys for tuning in, man. Appreciate all the engagement, all the likes. Appreciate the love that I've been getting, man. The channel has been growing and we only gonna get better. So yeah, I'll let you guys know if I do a watch along this weekend. Looks like you guys want me to, so I most likely would. But please go ahead and click on that link and watch that video, man. Let me know what you think. If you think I'm being delusional, I'm biased by picking Izzy, let me know in the comments, man. We could go back and forth, all right? With that being said, stay safe, guys. I'll see you guys on the next one.
Sassy.